Good evening and welcome to Dateline. I'm Stone Phillips.
And I'm Ann Curry. It is the latest in our series of undercover reports exposing online sex predators. Last time we heard from so many of you wondering why these men were just able to walk away.
This time, after men are caught by our cameras, they are arrested by police. An actor, a teacher, even an investigator from the Department of Homeland Security. Here's Chris Hansen.
Okay, here he comes. He's coming back.
A month ago, Dateline launched its third investigation into a growing national epidemic.
Hold on a second, I gotta finish brushing my teeth, okay?
Okay.
Grown men trolling the internet, many looking for sex with children. This time, to expose them, we set up multiple hidden cameras in this house in Southern California.
I gotta go floss. I still got something stuck in my teeth.
Okay.
Where a decoy coaches the men in.
Hey, come on in.
But instead of finding a 12 or 13-year-old home alone,
Seriously, drinks and stuff in the fridge for what I think.
I'm good, Dave. What are you going to do, bro?
the men looking for sex will meet me.
Hey, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Why don't you have a seat right
Here's
over
the kind of confrontation we're in for.
We're not.
This man is 37-year-old Kurt Lemke, a truck driver. Online, he calls himself Halo Ball Fan, and he thinks he's here to meet this 13-year-old boy named Dave. It's really a decoy photo. During his chat, he makes plans to give the boy oral sex.
What are you doing here?
Just hanging out.
Hanging out.
Who are you?
Who are you here to meet?
I don't know.
Why did you come here?
I think I was...
You were what?
Misled.
Misled. Misled into what?
I'm not sure. Who are you?
I have the log of your conversation with somebody who identified themselves as a 13-year-old boy named David.
Okay.
Does that sound familiar to you?
Possibly.
And that's about all he'll say. So I tell him
Chris Hansen
who I
with
am.
Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on adults
Oh, hell no.
trying to meet children on the internet.
He doesn't want to hear any more. And he takes off. Unlike our previous hidden camera operations, where after leaving the house, some men were able to make a run for it,
Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
this time things will be different.
How you doing? Wait, whoa, come here. Sir?
This time, law enforcement will be waiting. It was almost 2 years ago when Dateline conducted its first investigation into online predators. A year later, we did it again.
Did you bring condoms?
Yeah.
In two different investigations in two different states, dozens of men showed up at our undercover houses after chatting about sex online and then making a date with a minor.
Just sit down at the counter for a minute and I'll be down in a second.
One man who sent obscene video of himself to someone posing as a 13-year-old girl
Wow, that's
was a
big.
New York City firefighter whom we then confronted.
Is this appropriate behavior for a New York City firefighter?
No, sir, it is not.
Hi.
This man was a rabbi,
You know I'm in trouble, and I know I'm in trouble.
and he was not happy when he found out he'd be exposed on national television.
You don't want to touch it. You don't want it. You've got to stop this.
Both of our investigations were watched by millions of people. It was the talk of radio and cable television shows for weeks.
Dateline confronted men expecting...
So have sexual predators learned any lesson at all?
We'll check around.
Apparently not,
Hey, how are you? Okay.
as you'll witness firsthand in our latest investigation.
Did you want to come over?
As we have in the past, we enlisted the help of volunteers from Perverted Justice,
He's very anxious to come, it looks like.
a watchdog group that regularly catches computer predators by posing as kids online.
He wants to have sex with me.
But this time, Perverted Justice volunteers wanted to get law enforcement involved. So before our investigation began, they contacted the Riverside County Sheriff's Department.
We were approached by Perverted Justice to do this large sting, and they told us that Dateline would be following along. We jumped at the chance. He's actually going towards Schleisman now on Riverbend.
Sergeant Chad Bianco and a Perverted Justice volunteer screen-named Frag devised a plan.
We were in telephone contact and two-way radio contact with Perverted Justice, and they would let us know when someone was getting close.
No, they're not in the
The sergeant and his men, who are staked out in a mobile home parked in the driveway next door, are ready and waiting for suspects to show up at the house in an attempt to molest a child. The detectives will watch as men enter our house and then wait for frag signal.
Okay, come. Sit down on the step and don't move. Get on the ground! Get out!
Turn around.
The cuffs will go on these potential predators because Perverted Justice has already turned over important evidence to detectives. Chat logs filled with sexually graphic material, men planning sex acts with a 12 or 13-year-old. Sending those messages alone may only be a misdemeanor in California. But if the men show up at the house, there's no mistaking their intent to have sex with someone under the age of 14. And that's a felony, says Deputy District Attorney Michelle Paradise.
Not just the fantasy, because that's what's happening on the internet. They're having their fantasies. They're satisfying their urges for foreplay or whatever. They actually have to get them to follow through and show that there is an intent. It makes some proactive effort to meet that child.
Since almost 20 men showed up each time during our first 2 investigations, we're prepared for a big turnout. But it's hard to predict. So how many men will take the giant step and go from the chat room to our living room, keeping their dates for sex with a child?
Now, if there's anything else you'd like to say about what you're doing here tonight.
We're set up in this house in Southern California, ready and waiting for the knock on the door.
Ryan.
Hello?
Hello, Ryan.
Hey, man, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?